Just a couple notes relative to the schedule. The time slots are a little bit different just because of transportation, but I would say very much our normal Wednesday routine relative to practice. Any questions?
What kind of loss is that?
Well, look, with a starting player, there's always, it's never any good, and yet, the next guy's up, and we'll get ready to play him. Fantastic. The fields are great. This is my third trip here, and the setup was outstanding. I mean, there looks like there's 15 or 20 fields that are in immaculate condition, so the footing was good. Yeah, really good.
Did you expect Matt Hurt to step in?
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
You gave him a 2-year deal.
Who?
Obviously, not as a starter, but
Who?
Matt Hurt
Yeah.
in the offseason. What did you like about him to bring him back?
Yeah, like look, we had the player originally. We know exactly what we're getting, and we'll see how we handle the guard position.
How much different was the just sort of Sunday night doing some work and then coming here? Like, how has the transition into this week just been?
Look, this is my third trip, and so we have a sleep specialist we work with, and so the routine is very similar to the itinerary we've used in 2008. We were at Wembley at the Grove. We won there. And then 17, 18, I think it was at Wembley again. I think we practiced at the Irish Rugby Club's facility. This would be very much like the Arsenal. I mean, beautiful grounds. And so, again, from a schedule standpoint, it wasn't complex. We believe in both cases prior, we flew from an Eastern time zone city, Carolina, and handled it very much the same way we're handling it this week.
With your relationship with Aaron Glenn, what do you come to expect from a team that's built by
Yeah, he's a tremendous coach. He was a huge asset to us in New Orleans. I've said this before, as a head coach, you love to see guys get these opportunities. I love to watch Dan Campbell and his team. Aaron's getting things built there. I know how he was as a player, and I know how intense and diligent he was as a coach for us. So, I'm happy to see him get that opportunity, and it's much deserved.
Coach, throughout your career, did you ever worry about a trap game or believe in that idea, and how do you prevent?
No, each week it's the ability to refocus on the next challenge, and I think oftentimes the games are won and lost right here today, tomorrow, and Friday. So these guys understand in our league it's different than college. We're not getting a chance to play a 1AA or FCS school. These are all professional teams, and we'll handle it that way.
Before you got here to Denver, Courtland was kind of trending the wrong way. He wasn't scoring a lot of touchdowns. Numbers were modest. Do you think he responded to your coaching, the detailed nature of it?
I think, man, he's fan. Well, I can't speak.
And what do you see?
I can't speak from the prior, but man, he's got great work ethic. He's in great shape. He's super important to him. Like all the traits you look for in a player, he has. And then let's talk about the physical skill set, the size, catch radius. So I love coaching him. And the stuff that he's accomplished and will continue to is stuff that he works extremely hard on. And, you're never surprised with him. The catches he makes, how he plays, and just his approach from A to Z is fantastic.
Sean, I know we talked to Aaron at all this year.
I spoke to him the night before he took that job, and we talked for about 20 minutes. And the following morning, he accepted the job, and I probably texted him congratulations, but I haven't spoken to him since then. I'm sure he's been real busy.
You said that a defensive coach who's played for you. Are you cognizant of audibles? And
Yeah, a lot's changed, though. A lot's changed.
Sean, I'm sorry. I know you said the other day no sightseeing. Did the guys do anything Tuesday, or mostly just rest, or what happened? What they?
I think you'd have to ask all the guys. I mean, the schedule would be like it normally would be. Some of them went out and ate. Some of them ate back at the hotel. Yeah.
Sean, you guys have obviously responded after some tough losses last year, I guess, since you've been here. You guys have maybe one of your biggest wins. Can you tell the difference or have an idea how they may respond after such a big win compared to these tough losses? Like
Well,
success versus-
look, I think this. I think I understand the significance of last week's win relative to the opponent, and they're all units, you know, and you know, the first objective is to win the division. The second is to improve your seeding, and then last, play for a championship. That hadn't changed. So, you know, just as we try to digest a loss and then flip the page, the same has to be said, you know, with the win. So, I think, look, I think we have the right makeup and leadership to understand where the focus needs to be this week. I like that we're over here. I couldn't tell you or point in the direction where the hotel is, and that's fine. I'm still trying to figure out how to get around in the hotel, but it's the perfect setup. I like coming over here.
Sean, what's just been your impression of John Franklin Myers early in the season and his role that's playing in
He's strong. Very simple, though. The thing he can provide is he can dent the pocket, and if you're a quarterback, that's a problem because that 3-yard spot behind the center is that magical area that you want to protect. It's also the area that he can impact, and if you can get to that 3-yard spot behind the center, then that can affect the passer.
I guess
The
similarly.
number of snaps Kolcheski's playing in your offense affect your decision?
No, we'll make the right decision there. Look, Streif, for many years, I can't tell you how many times he reported. I think they had jerseys in New Orleans that said Streif reporting. You know, we try to take advantage. We get eight offensive linemen, and so, you know, using them, whether it's in the run game, play action, but it won't impact what we're doing.
How have you seen Roach come back from the
Good.
injury so
Yeah, good work today.
What are your thoughts on the stadium? Did you visit before?
I haven't seen the stadium. I've heard about it. I know it's field turf. I know it's newer. I'm excited to see it. And no, but I mean, this will be the first time for me being in it. With the prior two for me being in Wembley. So, yeah, I had a mess up the last time. Darius Rucker sang the national anthem, and I got to know him prior to I think the 17 game. In fact, we were together, and he's a big Dolphin fan, and that's who we were playing. And so we were able to get that done. And so when he finished, I was kind of excited about how it was all put together, and I jogged out to the middle of the field, and I forgot about God Save the Queen. And then I sat there at the 50-yard line, just kind of like a cat burglar caught, you know, and took my visor off and then was embarrassed. So I'll make sure to be prepared for the second anthem.
Just look how excited Sean is.
Yeah, listen, that was clumsy.
Just on that, Sean, you mentioned how the footing here was excellent. Do you kind of wish that you played on the same field that the soccer players play on?
That's a great question. Every player in our league would love to be playing on grass, and The World Cup's coming soon. A lot of those fields they'll all be grass. So that's the preferred surface. And I remember when I was young playing here in Leicester, we would play on the AstroTurf fields, and you would put a lot of sand on it so the ball wouldn't bounce, because obviously most of the sporting events on it were English football or soccer. And now that's a tough surface to play football on with so much sand. Like, we would finish a game with, just bruises and scrapes everywhere. But the grass surface is by far the nicest and the preferred surface for any player. All the injury information and the wear and tear, it's much easier.
What do you remember about playing for Leicester, and also you're bringing members of that team under 17, I guess, to practice? Just talk about.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was
88.
1980, 87. And here's the thing: in the Midlands, it's not like the tourists flood that area, and so, there was a league up there: Leicester, Nottingham, Birmingham, a number of teams. And so certainly we were the four Americans on the block. There weren't many Americans. We were treated great. I have a pretty good memory, so I remember a lot about that season, and made some great friends. It'll be good to catch up with a number of these guys later in the week. So we'll make sure we take care of them. I think each time I've come over, I've had a chance to see a few of them.
Have you been able to revisit Leicester or any of your trips?
I haven't. I know, I can't recall the year, but I know they won the Premier League the one year, and that was a big deal. I don't think the stadium, Saffron Lane's there anymore. It used to have a velodrome, and I was asking the bus driver on the way over, how long is it from where we're at? He's 2.5 hours, so might be tough to get over there. But it was, listen, I was 23 years old, right out of college, and basically playing for pizza, because you enjoyed it. So it was a good 6 months. It was nice.
Did you know you were getting the personality from Dobbins that you were? Because when you're talking, he's got an edge to him.
Yeah, I would say, I've said this a couple of times. In New Orleans, we signed a free agent a little bit later in the process, Demario Davis, and we kind of saw the film and, kind of knew what we were getting. And then when he arrived, this can happen once in a while. You get so much more. All of a sudden you have someone who's a captain, and so I would make that comparison. Like, I knew the runner a little bit, but all the other things I think has tremendously helped the room and our team. Just the leadership, and he's been a great addition. I mean, and so that in New Orleans they would say that's lagniappe, stuff you don't expect that you got, and it was similar to Demario.
Did you know he's bilingual?
Well, I heard the interview the other day and I was shocked. So he's pretty amazing.
Well, and then he has no problem embracing being, a mentor to
Yeah,
kids.
absolutely.
You don't always get that with veteran players.
Well, and I think the smarter ones understand, the key is, how long can we play in this league? And, yeah, he's been fantastic.
I'm just curious how'd you end up who told you to go play in Leicester?
I'd been in the Arena League, I'd been up in the CFL, then back in the States, just finished playing during that strike season and was getting ready to kind of get into coaching, and then the owner of the team had reached out, Barry Wardle, and it was just one more, it was a time I can remember my mother saying, all your friends are getting married and they have health insurance, and what are you doing? And then leaving here, flying back to Chicago, and then the next day driving to San Diego State. Broke down in Denver, ironically, in a Cavalier, and a guy helped me fix the car. You know, it's interesting because you're going from playing to coaching, and you know, it was a graduate assistantship, and I just knew I wanted to be a coach. I thought I wanted to be a college coach, and then you know, this league found you.
Did you look it up on a map to see where you were going?
Yeah. I think, yeah. I remember. Here's the other thing. We were talking on the bus ride in. Driving on the right side of the car is fine. The feet are still the same. You know, the gas and the brakes, they travel the same, but it was a stick shift. And so get that left hand going a little bit, and that took a minute. You know, the clutch, my left hand's awful. And so it had to pick up the slack, and there were a number of things that I remember.
Your teammates, they all had kind of day jobs.
Yeah, so we would there were 4 Americans per team. We would coach and play, and then practice would be 5:30ish, you know, and so when everyone was finished work, we'd go for a couple hours, and then play our games on the weekend. And yeah, I mean, for them it was the love of the game, and the 4 of us lived in a house. We'd go work out in the mornings or play some golf, put practice plans together, and I think we were the Leicester Panthers, so we were pretty good.
What type of jobs did they have?
They had all sorts of jobs. I mean, I'm telling you, from bouncers to construction to, I mean, they were all different occupations. Some were young, some were older. That was fun.
How's your teammate with Danny Walker?
Good golfer, I think, too, if my memory serves me correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Coach, when you talk about the past, and then obviously when you were here in 2008, that Saints Chargers game, 17 years later, standing here.
So it was Saints Chargers, then it was Saints Dolphins.
Yeah, it was 20-0.
Yep.
It was a good result as well.
Yep.
So obviously you're hoping to leave London again with another win, but what do you just make of the growth of, you know, over the last 17
It's been
years?
great. Yeah, fantastic. When you're young, I've said this, when you're young, sometimes you burn a lot of calories on things. Maybe as you get older, you don't worry about as much. And early on, I was skeptical. And then, you know, in New Orleans, we got displaced several times because of hurricanes, and I always felt it helped our team. Last year, you know, we played 2 East Coast games, Tampa Bay, trained at the Greenbrier, played the Jets. And so we were hoping to get a London game because this type of experience with your team is, I think, really positive. And it's certainly an easier trip coming off of a win. The record for a lot of the teams the week prior has not been really good. And we kind of focused on trying to stay present with the current game and then worry about, so no one could use the L word last week anywhere. And we just told them Friday, just have an extra suitcase. It'll be at your hotel, and that was it. And the staff, everyone involved in the week did a great job, and now the focus is on New York.
Did you direct the buses down Broad Street after the Eagles?
No, we discussed it, but we just went the normal route.
Coach, without the bye week next week, any concern about just general fatigue with all the...
No, we've done some studies on that, interestingly enough. Now, we'll be smart as to how we practice next week, just as it's been a unique schedule in that we played Monday night last week. That you know, when the schedule comes out, you just look at the travel, and so the concern was Monday, and then Eastern time zone Sunday. Now we get into a little bit of a normal routine, but when we return, the schedule has to reflect a change. So that'll be something we'll be smart about.
Sorry, you've spent so many years as a coach, but being a player, there's certain things you miss about that, the adrenaline of playing. that are different from coaching that I've
Yeah,
seen?
yeah. I think this. It's easiest to say, you want to play until everyone tells you to go home. And so I got to that point where everyone told you to go home, and then it's like, well, all right, I don't want to leave. What else can I do? And my dad worked in a suit every day, got dressed, took a bus to a trained to the city, and I knew I didn't want to do that.
But Sean, when you're player coach, is that really like, okay, this coaching thing might be for me? Or?
Yeah, a little bit. I think I knew I was trending that direction. Wasn't like I was trending forward. And so I knew here that, it was going to be time to try to find a graduate assistantship.
You got anything left from that time here? Sweatshirt?
Yeah, I think a jersey somewhere, pictures, but more importantly, again, not the physical. It's all the memories. That's what's the thing that was the best part of it.
You said you were initially skeptical.
Skeptical.
Of the London.
Well, just not knowing, and he called and he talked about, a signing bonus, and I thought, we'll see, and then it appeared in my checking account, and I thought, well, shoot, then we're going. All right, thank you.